The tag flag tells the story. For diversion, we go ashore on a sand cay and Dolly makes friends with a ball of fluff. It's nice watching your friends catch fish, especially records like Steve and this dolphin fish. He's no relation to the porpoise, by the way. This was the club president's best fish. So with the flag flying, we take him in and weigh him. You promised me a fish, but this is ridiculous. We hold it for the photographer. It's now the third year, and we haven't been able to land the big fella, although we've had quite a few on. This one's not a 1,000-pounder, so out comes a tagging pole and we release him. (1968). We entertained an old friend, Prime Minister Harold Holt, on what was to be his last birthday. He added to Dolly's shell collection. His kind of fishing differed from ours, but it was his birthday, so we head for the outer barrier reef. He loads the spear gun given to him by President Johnson and is away. He was a very good spear fisherman, as you can see by this batfish. He soon filled the cockpit, but a few weeks later he disappeared in the sea, enjoying the sport he loved so well. For the fourth season, we go back to the 38-footer. She's not as fast, but a lot more comfortable. We usually make Brampton Island our halfway stopover on the way to Cairns, one of the most pleasant islands on the Barrier Reef with plenty to do. especially when your own shack is always waiting for you. TAA's air terminal was finished long before Sydney's Opera House. We work up an appetite for lunch on the water skis. Dolly shows off a haul of tanguigua, Spanish mackerel, caught from an outboard. The sunsets are glorious, but we must be away for our 4th year after the big fellows off Cairns. With some time to spare, we agree to help get some film for the TV network program American Sportsman. The late Gypsy Rose Lee comes aboard with tons of cameras and sound equipment. Gypsy hasn't caught a marlin before, so I show her what to do. The bait's out, and we get a strike. The cameras crank away, and so does Gypsy. She did very well for the first time, and Dolly helps Kevin tail rope her marlin. Then it's congratulations from all. For the camera, but we meant it. He wasn't a big fish, but the network cameraman got some very good action. It was Gypsy's first and last marlin. Ernest Borgnine of McHale's Navy fame was next. Still the tons of camera gear. We plot a course of action and head for the reef. Ernie was a real sportsman and loved every minute of it. We rigged up a big bait for him. Dolly on the fly bridge spots a marlin near the bait. And we're away. His photographers record Ernie catching his first marlin in Australia. Ernie soon has him alongside. "You got tags?" he inquired. "Yep." "Okay, let him go," and we did. With the tag, of course, and he jumped for joy after he was released. After 5 years of unsuccessful attempts to land a 1,000-pound black marlin off Cairns, we take off for the USA to buy a boat that will enable us to stay out on the reef until we succeed. On a demonstration trip off Florida, we witnessed a terrible accident. A boat literally blows up right under our noses. Luckily, the only 2 men aboard were on the fly bridge and received no injuries. We picked them up and called the Coast Guard on the radio. Their boat was a complete write-off. We We bought the boat we were on, a 53-footer, and everybody laughed when they saw the size of the fish door we cut in the stern. Dolly named her Blue Rhapsody, and I put the letters on. We cruised her up the inland waterway, a memorable trip from Miami to Savannah, Georgia, where we made her ready to be loaded on a freighter bound for Australia. She arrives in Sydney okay after we load her in Savannah, and here she is, and her props bite the Pacific for the very first time. She's quite a craft, one we couldn't possibly duplicate here. Within a week, we're off for the Barrier Reef, 1,600 miles north of Sydney, and our 5th year after the big black Marlin. We're a couple of weeks early, so at Cairns we pick up our old pal Vince Vlasov and head for Princess Charlotte Bay, a few hundred miles north. A barracuda comes aboard. It's strictly a pleasure cruise. At Cape Melville, we lower the dinghy and go ashore. While Dolly fossicks for shells, we collect a gallon of the most luscious oysters you ever tasted in your life. We paddle quietly up a creek from the Kennedy River, and Vince demonstrates the skill he learned from an old Aborigine in spearing mud crabs. These were prize specimens, and boy, oh boy, did they taste good. There were barramundi galore, the world's finest eating fish. We are past the point of no return, and it's get fuel or else. So we head inland up the Kennedy River and turn into the Annie River to the famous Annie River Landing at Marina Plains Station. Yes, we could get fuel, but he'd have to drive his 4-wheel vehicle 35 miles to get it, if they had any. Well, they had some, and we became the first boat ever to refuel at the Annie River Landing. But it's Marlin time again. And we bring a fair-sized one alongside to check his size. It's very difficult to judge their size when they're jumping. I gaffed him lightly in the shoulder until we can size him up. He won't make the weight, and he's not hurt, so we put a tag in his shoulder and release him. It's so much more rewarding than hanging them up just to take pictures.